What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. November's here, which means it's time to talk about my most anticipated movies of the month. Before we begin, let me know in the comments what movies this month you're most looking forward to seeing. As always, this is just a reminder that these will be in order of release date, not ranked by how much I'm anticipating each movie. Also, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these videos, as it helps me out immensely by getting my content out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. Also, one more thing, similar to my October list, I'm going to be discussing 15 movies as opposed to the usual 10 here. This obviously isn't every movie being released, but the rest of the year is just jam-packed and there's just way too much to talk about. Even with these, I'm still leaving a few movies I want to see off, but it should be fun. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, so let's talk about them. Kicking things off is The Beta Test. The latest film from writer, director, actor Jim Cummings sees him team up in all those areas with PJ McCabe. I was a big fan of Cummings' previous film, The Wolf of Snow Hollow, though this seems like a change of pace for the director, with it being less of a comedy and more of a satirical erotic thriller that could be something in the vein of Eyes Wide Shut. Cummings has been one of the freshest, most original voices to hit the big screen in the last few years, so anything he's concocting, I'm going to be immediately on board. So this hits theaters and VOD on the 5th. The Electrical Life of Louis Wayne, a biographical drama of the cat artist of the same name, is technically already out in a limited theatrical release, but I did not get to include it in my October video, so I want to talk about it briefly. I honestly think it'll probably play into some of the usual biographical tropes to some degree, but I think given the eccentric nature of its subject, I think it'll be somewhat interesting, especially as it should be boosted by a solid performance by Benedict Cumberbatch. While I don't know what kind of an impact it will have during award season, there is a chance we may hear more from this one, so be on the lookout. This hits Amazon Prime on the 5th. Eternals, the latest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is from Oscar-winning director Chloe Zhao and features an ensemble cast that includes Angelina Jolie, Gemma Chan, Brian Tyree Henry, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, among many others. And it explores some brand new territory for the MCU, with beings such as Celestials and also spanning the course of thousands of years of history. If you've been following the early reviews for this, you'll know it's left fans pretty divided, to the point it's now the lowest rated and first rotten MCU movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently, with the amount of ground it has to cover, the execution winds up being for better or worse, depending on what you're looking for. Though, most of the positive reactions wind up with people absolutely loving it. Though, at this point, I just say, like with anything else, just go into the movie and form your own opinion about it, and hopefully, you'll enjoy it as well. It hits theaters on the 5th. Spencer stars Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana, focusing on the deterioration of her marriage to Prince Charles. This is going to be one of the big ones. Released by Neon, this has received a ton of hype for Stewart's performance, with her seeming like the clear frontrunner in the Best Actress race for next year's Oscars. While it's a biography, it does seem like it's going to place more of an emphasis on its psychological elements, which should make it a bit more against the grain, as well as more emotionally compelling than your standard biopic. But we shall see. This hits theaters on the 5th. Belfast is the latest film from Kenneth Branagh and tells the story of a working-class family and their young son's childhood in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Described by Branagh himself as a very personal film, this seems to have been unofficially dubbed by some as Branagh's Roma, with both sharing the same black and white aesthetic and being semi-autobiographical in nature. And like Roma, this has been winning audiences over already, receiving critical acclaim during its festival run and seeming to position itself as one of the major contenders for Best Picture, if not the frontrunner itself. I'm sure we'll be hearing plenty more from this one in the months to come, and it hits theaters on the 12th. Tick Tick Boom is the directorial debut of Lin-Manuel Miranda and is a biographical musical about playwright Jonathan Larson, played by Andrew Garfield. Now, I don't know much about Jonathan Larson or his work, as I've never seen his musical of the same name, nor have I seen the much more famous Rent, but I do enjoy a good musical. I like Andrew Garfield as an actor, and whenever Lin-Manuel Miranda is involved creatively in a new project, it's always something of interest for me, especially as I've grown to love Hamilton, and I really liked In the Heights. I know musicals aren't everyone's cup of tea, but I'm all on board here. And this hits theaters in a limited release on the 12th, followed by a Netflix release on the 19th. The Power of the Dog is the latest film from Jane Campion and stars Benedict Cumberbatch as a rancher who torments his brother's new wife, played by Kirsten Dunst, until he takes her son under his wing, though it's unsure if this is all part of a game or if he's truly softening up. This is another one that made its festival rounds not too long ago and is another major contender for the Oscars, having received critical acclaim for its direction and performances. Also starring the likes of Jesse Plemons, Thomasin McKenzie, and Cody Smith-McPhee, this seems like another film we'll be hearing plenty of in the months to come. Plus, it should be at least a nice way of showing off a whole new side to the usually charming Benedict Cumberbatch. This gets a limited theatrical release on the 17th, followed by a Netflix release on December 1st. Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn, and yes, that's the real title of this movie, focuses on a school teacher whose life is turned upside down when a personal sex tape gets leaked. I mean, honestly, this has me all on board just by the title alone, which definitely takes the cake as the most creative title of 2021. Despite filming during the pandemic and even incorporating it into its plot, it doesn't seem to have limited the cast and crew creatively, as it has received critical acclaim and was even selected as the Romanian entry for Best International Feature. And I truly hope it gets nominated just so I can hear that title be read out loud at the awards. But this hits theaters on the 19th. Come On is the latest film from Mike Mills and stars Joaquin Phoenix as a journalist who forms a bond with his precocious young nephew on a cross-country road trip. Distributed by A24, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but it's also that time of the year, as this is yet another film that's been going around as a potential major Oscar contender, given both its reception and the fact that Mills' previous films have been nominated in at least one category apiece. Now, given that Mills seems to have his finger on the pulse when it comes to crafting compelling drama, along with the film's tone, as well as the usually reliable Phoenix in the lead, this indicates it may wind up making his biggest impact yet. So, we'll see. And it hits theaters on the 19th. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the long-awaited sequel to the original Ghostbusters films, and is yet another film that saw numerous delays due to the pandemic that's finally seen the light of day. While sequels that are decades after the original tend to be hit and miss, I still have high hopes for this, both due to its nostalgic tone, as well as the fact that it's helmed by Jason Reitman, son of the original director Ivan, and is also a fantastic director in his own right. I'm very excited for this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it hits theaters on the 19th. King Richard tells the story of Richard Williams, who uses his unconventional methods to guide daughters Venus and Serena to become legendary tennis icons. This will probably go down as one of the feel-good hits of the fall. While, as I said earlier, I'm always a bit weary with biographical dramas, according to early reviews, this seems to buck conventional tropes and really shine through to do something a bit more unique. And I'm sure, more than anything else, there will be a huge push to at least get Will Smith nominated come award season. It looks very sweet, and I'm sure will be a huge crowd pleaser, and it hits theaters and HBO Max on the 19th. Encanto focuses on a magical family called the Madrigals and the one ordinary member of the family who discovers the magic is under threat and she may be the only one who could save it. This is the 60th film from Walt Disney Animation Studios, which is absolutely wild to me, and for their milestone film, we get one that looks absolutely beautiful. It looks like it'll be full of the usual Disney charm, and it's brought to us by Byron Howard and Jared Bush, who have been behind many of Disney's 2010 hits in some form or another, along with Lin-Manuel Miranda composing the songs, so I have a feeling it'll be more of the usual Disney magic. It's theaters on the 24th. House of Gucci is the second Ridley Scott movie we're getting this year after The Last Duel, which recounts the events and aftermath of Maurizio Gucci's 1995 murder. This one's been getting hyped up since essentially the beginning of the year, and seems to be the one that will ultimately get more of an awards push. While I'm not quite as hyped for this as I was The Last Duel, I do think it'll be another solid, well-acted addition to Ridley Scott's impressive filmography, and will feature another considerable turn from both Lady Gaga and Adam Driver. So, like many others on this list, this will be one to look out for, and it hits theaters on the 24th. The Humans is the directorial debut of playwright Stephen Karam, based on his one-act play of the same name, focusing on a family whose tensions hit a boiling point at a Thanksgiving dinner. Another A24 release, this one's got a stacked and quite eclectic cast, which includes Stephen Yeun, Beanie Feldstein, Amy Schumer, Richard Jenkins, among many others. While I think it will have that very obvious stage play feel, it does seem like it won't hinder the movie too much, as it's received its fair share of acclaim during its own festival run. I haven't heard it spoken about too much in terms of its awards chances, but don't be surprised if we get any nominations in terms of the acting categories. Only time will tell. We'll see this in theaters and on Showtime on the 24th. And finally, Licorice Pizza is the latest from Paul Thomas Anderson and is a coming-of-age drama about first love in San Fernando Valley, 1973. This one seems to be more of a slice-of-life sort of movie rather than about any one specific series of events. The trailers, while showing us a decent amount, don't reveal too many specific things from what I was able to gather, though honestly, I'm totally fine with that, as I'm good with just going into this a bit blind, especially since I trust Paul Thomas Anderson, who's one of my favorite directors, and I'm sure he'll offer something unique, even if it doesn't seem like it'll be anything truly groundbreaking. But I'm looking forward to checking it out, and it hits theaters on the 26th. And that's what we have to look forward to in November, and it is jam-packed. It's going to be non-stop for the rest of this year. As usual, I'll hopefully be able to get as many reviews as I can for these out in a timely manner, so stay on the lookout for those, and more coming soon. But let me know, which movies are you looking forward to in November? Was it anything I listed here? Was it something I left off? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.